Good morning, folks. So today, the roundtable is getting a little bit of a edit, and here's why. First of all, welcome Jeff, welcome Mark.
Hello.
Greetings.
So I've been really struggling with the roundtable recently, because I always envisioned the roundtable to be something that Jeff, Mark, myself could do without having to read 16 novels and research for 3 weeks to do one conversation. That and me finding topics has been really hard because of that criteria. It's got to be something that is relatively common knowledge and something that we can discuss without having to research for 3 weeks. So the topics have been getting narrower and narrower, and I don't want to repeat topics. So what we've decided what we'll do is we will do a review of a documentary, whether it be YouTube, Netflix, what have you. I'd like to try to stay near the bigger things like the timeline documentaries, or I'd like to stay near the big guys for now. Not so much, well, this YouTuber doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, review this. Mainly because what I don't want this to turn into is this us attacking another channel, because that's not the point of this. The criteria we'll be going by, and then I'll let everybody else talk and add their points. The criteria we're going to go on is visually, was it acceptable? So was the visuals on point with what the narrator was saying? Secondly, the audio. Were the audio levels all over the damn place? So that if you were wearing headphones, it hurt. Or they were so quiet that the background noise or the music behind the video was too loud and you could barely hear the narrator. That's happened in some. So those are two criteria. Is the information easy to understand? Can anybody understand this, or do you need a degree in something to be able to decipher what the narrator is saying? Also, we'll be looking for biases. So there are documentaries out there, shocker, that you can tell are very rah-rah Britain, very rah-rah Canada, rah-rah USA, rah-rah, I hate to say this, Russia, rah-rah, what have you. Will we, is there a bias in this documentary? As good of a bias, we tend to think if it's a bias towards the Allies, it's a good thing. Not always. Because sometimes you step on your other allies' feet and make them seem very, very, very like they didn't need to be there. You can go too far that way. So there's a few documentaries my brain is thinking about right now. But so basically what we'll do is we'll sit down, we'll watch, not on stream, but of course off stream, we will have watched the documentary, and we'll the idea is to give our critiques, not necessarily to bash whoever made the video or documentary, because let's face it, even the worst documentaries probably took some time doing. I know my little crappy edits take me 3 to 4 or 5 hours, so there was work put in. I know that I might, just for fun, I might throw in a timeline documentary that I will, how did this make it past the editor? How? But that was a complete failure on all levels. We might do that one. It's 3 hours long, so poor Mark. But it's
Poor Mark, poor me.
Poor me. I have to watch it again. That's why we may not do it. I was so mad. I threw things after watching that one. Yeah, I was not
Just
happy.
watch some History Channel documentaries.
I gave up on them a long time ago.
Good.
Some of their documentaries, like what?
Ufology.
No, 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 no. They've got wonderful
Ancient.
documentaries. They've got that car show, that Pawn Star show. Those are wonderful documentaries, aren't they?
Oh yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
fabulous.
Oy vey. All right. So, Jeff, Mark, what do you think of our new direction? Any things you'd like to add to that little spiel I just gave?
Well, I'm more interested in the bias angle.
Yeah.
Do documentaries bring in different perspectives, different angles, different ways of thinking? If it's all one-sided, that's a sign of a poor documentary. I want to see a lot of documentaries that don't do that, that do bring in the different perspectives, the different ideas into the documentary.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, it's very easy to go, "Yay, allies!" Um, but especially
Yeah,
within the
not
modern.
everything the Allies did was great.
Oh,
Nope.
all right,
By
Mark.
any
And
stretch
I'm going to go a different
imagination.
direction. I'm going to go a different direction and say what I don't want to see is us turning it into a complete bash session.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, critiquing is one thing, but completely just annihilating it, something just for the fact, just so we can simply do it. That's what I don't want to see.
yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna say that uh, we do open the floor if you have, you've seen a documentary and you want us to review it. Um, Put it in the comment section or in the history with R&R Discord. However, if it is, a YouTube channel that has like 500 subs and the guy is just starting to learn, like myself, how to put things together or whatnot, and, I may skip that one because I don't want it to be where we're just taking apart other channels. For the most part, I'd like it to be documentaries done at a professional level because realistically, if they screw up, they deserve the critiquing. At a professional level, if they're screwing something the pooch on something, then they deserve it because they had the funding and they had the researching staff and they had the big studio where this shouldn't be the case. This isn't like you, me in the back room trying to work something together. The bigger places like Timeline and other stuff like that, they have some really good ones. They have some real stinkers too. But I think, like I said, the main criteria was the audio good, was the visuals matching what the narrator was saying. Was he going, the Germans were invading and they were showing Russian tanks? What the fuck? Could be a moment where we go, wrong picture, dude. Yeah, but
Constructive criticism.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just talking about the Germans, probably not a good idea to have the Russians on the screen. Or the Allies, because the
Mm-hmm.
pictures are easier to get. Stuff like that. So it's less about, finding, because I can find you about 100 history channels that shouldn't be history channels because
Yeah.
they hurt my head. Um, but I'm more thinking looking at the bigger companies. So like stuff on Netflix, stuff on YouTube, but the bigger professional documentaries, because believe it or not, even the professional ones can make your head hurt. Um, so I think it's better for now that we leave it where it's the bigger professionally done documentaries that we're talking about. Just because I don't want this to turn into um, us sandbagging a poor up and coming YouTuber who he means well, but he still hasn't got his footing. Because to be honest, that's me. I mean well, but sometimes I'm off the mark by about 100 feet, and I know it. But, I do the best I can. So I don't want this to turn into, well, this YouTuber who's got 500 subs said something really stupid, and rip him to shreds for us. That's not what I want this to turn into. This has to be this is just a way for a table discussion where I can keep the topics light. And the topics don't get too preachy, because if we go deep diving into historical events, they can sound preachy, and they've been done a million times.
Mhm.
Um, so I don't want this to turn into that either, where it's just us in 1955. It's been done a million times. So what I'd like to do is
Hey, some of
just
those older ones are good ones to watch. Those government made documentaries. That I mean, even they're biased, but they're still
yeah.
actually interesting to watch.
Oh, they're interesting to watch, but again, we could go, well, take what they said here with a grain of salt,
Yep.
because you can definitely tell the trending bias on this one.
Mhm.
And that's not being, I think, unfair. That's just kind of going, you kind of loaded this a little one-sided here.
Mhm.
Um, you know, you
Government's going to do
downplay the
that.
historical significance of this, and you overplayed the historical significance of this, in my opinion. You know, so we can take it from different angles, but I think it'll be very interesting to just sit down, watch a documentary, and then go, that was really good, or he was good, but that shaky cam, really. Like, but if we're saying that about a professionally done, and that's why I'm kind of stressing that professionally done documentary, it's one thing. If we're saying it about a YouTuber who's got 1,000 or less subs, or 2,000 subs, or whatever it is, it's almost picking on the poor guy, because he's doing the best he can with what he's got, right?
Right.
Mhm.
He's not going to have the budget that, say, a timeline video does,
Mhm.
right? 13 editors, and or whatever it is, they don't have access to that. Okay, so it's one guy with his camera, or you know good example, Tino has a very small production crew. For the most part, it's mainly him walking through a tunnel, and his camera's going like this because he's going like this. But again, it's him. It's not a boom mic and boom camera coming down with him. Um and another thing we could look at is titles. Did the title match the documentary? Because sometimes, you think YouTube videos were the only ones for bait and switch? No, there are documentaries that are bait and switch. So I think that's pretty much it. So we just wanted to come to you today, let you know there will be a little bit of a format change. I hope you guys enjoy the format change. I hope you will get involved with the format change. And do, like I said, put forward your documentaries that you would like us to watch, and we'll watch them as long as they meet the criteria. The criteria is it can't be some up and coming YouTuber that barely is getting by, but he's doing the best he can, but it's not the best that we've seen. I'd like them to try to stay professionally done for the most part for the start, just to get a kind of a groove going, and then we can kind of go, that way down the road. If we did see a smaller YouTube channel, we could go, well, we gave you no less respect than we gave Timeline, right? We only judged what we judged them, so sorry. But for now, I'd like to stay as professional, more towards the professionally done. documentaries, because there's a treasure trove of yay and treasure trove of what the hell were they smoking when they made this. um, and that's just in the professional versions. So I think we can stick towards the professional ones for now. Netflix would be a treasure trove of what were you smoking when you came up with some of those. Um, but I mean, some of them are well done. Some of them are, ooh, that could have stayed a little bit in the cooker. Um, but with that, I will say thank you to Jeff. Thank you to Mark. And,
Thank you.
to save Jeff's sanity, if you ever want to be on a Monday show, please do reach out to Jeff. Um, before poor Jeff's hairline goes that way, trying to get us people to be on the show. So if you do want to be on the Monday show, let us know. We'll reach out. We can accommodate most people and most times, and we can be flexible. We might even do a couple where if you can't make it, we can record and drop it as a premiere and see what
Absolutely.
happens from there. So, but get together with Jeff. Don't message me because it ain't my department. You'll be told, please message Jeff, because that's his department. And with that, thank you and good night.